Hi, I'm Gigi Douban, and on this episode of Alabama Inc., we look at historic preservation and how that old vacant building can be a gold mine in the waiting. Also, Pat Duggan sits down with fashion designer Amanda Perna of Project Runway, and correspondent Josh Sneed talks with a woman who spares no expense in her quest to find the best workout in town. All that's coming up on Alabama Inc. There are some old buildings that make a neighborhood hip and charming. Others just sit there abandoned for years. They could be sort of an eyesore, and a lot of times they're not much better off on the inside. So why not just tear a place like that down? Well, there's a group of people out there who say that just because a building's decaying doesn't mean it's dead. But bringing it back to life comes with its own set of challenges. The first thing you need to know about the Thomas Jefferson Hotel is that it's huge. The second is that it's been sitting here vacant in downtown Birmingham for more than 20 years. And every time someone has stepped up to turn the place around, something would go wrong. A contract would fall through, or the economy tanked. Developers abandoned it.
The main obstacle on this property is the sheer size of it. It's a large project. It's 158,000 square feet, roughly 20 stories, including the basement. It has 4 elevator corridors, so you'd have to rehab quite a few elevators as well. You'd have to go back through and put in all the electrical systems, all the plumbing systems, all the HVAC systems, all mechanical systems. It's a fairly large project. There's not very many developers out there who can take on a project of this nature.
Not many can afford it either. The building is listed at $1.5 million. But some estimates for getting it back in shape run up to $20 million, just clearing out all the stuff that's piled up over the years.
To be a developer, you have to have vision. And so everyone that comes into the property who are truly a developer, they see what this property could be. This was the best, I guess, most luxurious hotel in Birmingham when it was built.
There were fancy elevators, there was a terrace that wrapped around the building, but the place now is in such disrepair that restoring it seems completely daunting.
There have been some concerns that the property is too far gone, too far deteriorated to do anything with, that it may be best to implode and remove and sell for the value of the land. You have terracotta falling off the facade, you have the interior looking as it is now, you have flooding in the basement. So at some point in time it becomes a public nuisance and you have to do something else with it.
Now, the Thomas Jefferson Hotel might be the biggest empty historic building in Birmingham, but it's definitely not the only one. There's the Pizitz Building and Powell School, both just a few blocks away. But some say empty buildings aren't always a bad thing.
The good thing about Birmingham, and we have a lot of what preservationists call inventory, which is empty buildings. But it's another way of looking at an empty building is you have opportunities.
This building, for example, that you're sitting in, the Zinta building, was built in 1888. It was almost torn down. It was in deplorable condition. But we restored this building in 1985. The building almost looks new. It's held up remarkably well. When we did this building, even 27 years ago, we wired every room for computers.
So it is possible to have all your modern
all that
amenities
stuff,
and things.
You put it in.
And keep the character and stay true to the character of the building.
And that's really nice.
But you've got to wonder, why do it? Because not only is it expensive to take on a historic fixer-upper, it's tough to score a loan to finance it all.
You know, those of us who are trying to do stuff down here, we're still in a minority. It's still a sort of a niche, you know, sort of an area for banks, you know, to look at. It has become easier to talk to banks. It's still just not as easy as we would like. I'd say there'd just be things about the project that would just be easier to put together if it was brand new, just because there are fewer unknowns with new construction where you can kind of control everything from the ground up. Whereas here, until you really get into it, I mean, you can only do so much investigation and due diligence until you actually come in and start ripping things up, and then suddenly you realize, oh my gosh, okay, look at what we got here. Suddenly we've got to spend an extra $100,000 patching all this plaster that we were assuming was going to be in good shape.
And when you're in the renovation business, surprises are bad. They're expensive, they're risky. So why chance it? Well, make no mistake, there is money to be made here. Otherwise, no one would be doing it, right?
Would you say that there is money to be made in renovating historic buildings and turning them into residential?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that we did this for reasons that were very special to us and didn't have anything to do with making a profit. That being said, we wouldn't have done this if we didn't feel like we were going to, you know, if we felt like we were going to lose money, right?
These people aren't doing it for charity. So these guys aren't doing it just for fun. I think they're enjoying the process, but they're making money. But again, it's not for everybody, and it's not maybe the easiest way to make money.
Now, imagine going to see a show for 25 cents. That was the deal at Birmingham's Lyric Theater back in the 20s. It was one of the first places in the South where blacks and whites could watch shows together and pay the same price. Again, lots of history there. But like the Thomas Jefferson Hotel, it's in terrible shape. But the community is rallying behind it.
What are you looking at in terms of costs?
Our estimated cost right now is $15 million. And what we're basing that on is a little bit of money. If you think of $5 million is a little bit of money, but a little bit of money can go a long way in here right now.
So $15 million, where do you think most of that is going to come from?
I think private investment will mean a lot. I think crowdsourcing, like crowdsourced funding, is going to mean a lot for this place. Giving $10 or $20. I encourage people to think of it in terms of like paying for their first ticket to an event at the Lyric. As awareness of the theater has increased, people, I think, have more of a mind for restoration rather than the wrecking ball.
In the meantime, more developers are looking to tax credits and government grants to help finance these projects. And maybe this way, some hope, there will be fewer eyesores and for sale signs and more old buildings where people work and live, just as they did back in the day. Coming up next on Alabama Inc.
Trying to find that balance of what your brand is and what people want. That is the ultimate challenge.
If you've ever been to Madison Avenue in New York City, you know that there's like designer after designer after designer, all clamoring for that limited number of customers out there. And in the middle of all that fight is University of Alabama graduate Amanda Perna. She has her own fashion line, and that trip from Tuscaloosa to the halls of Calvin Klein to the Project Runway reality TV show is how she got from here to there. True story. I'm in New York with my wife, and we're at Balthazar restaurant in the Soho district, and we arranged for a couple of our cousins to meet us for dinner. And one of them walks up, I'm not kidding, unprompted, in black and white, houndstooth. Now, I'm like, okay, fine, that's great, until we go down Madison Avenue, and then storefront after storefront after storefront is black and white houndstooth. I mean, is the fashion world finally catching up to Tuscaloosa, or what?
I think they finally are. It's really funny. Every single brand, it seems, especially for fall 2012, they're all doing houndstooth. Distorted houndstooth, traditional houndstooth. It's every single line that I've seen is really doing houndstooth, which for me, I'm a little biased and super excited. And I remember when I first moved to New York, it didn't seem like anybody understood it. It was kind of like old-fashioned. No one really wanted to go there. And now it's, I mean, I don't think I know a single brand, like from the bottom all the way up to the top, that's not doing houndstooth.
So for your conventional line, which is the one that you debuted in Miami, we were talking about that backstage before your show. Where's it, what you like versus what the public likes? How do you finally decide whatever is going to work?
That is the ultimate challenge as a designer, trying to find that balance of what is your aesthetic, what you feel strongly about, and what your brand is, and what people want. So you have to find the trends that you want to follow. There's always a ton of trends each season, and it's picking out the ones that your customer will understand. Not every woman will love my clothing, and that's okay. And I understand that and I embrace that, but my woman is the one that I'm trying to please, because you can't please everyone. So I try to find different inspiration and different themes and different trends that she'll understand and she'll embrace and she'll have to have.
Thank you.
During your fashion show, I was out in the audience. Everybody was having a good time, and the models were doing their thing, and everything looked nice and calm. Somehow I take it that's not exactly what was going on backstage.
No, backstage is always a fiasco. You know, it's interesting. I mean, before I got into fashion, you know, you see the shows and you're like, it's so glamorous, it's so lovely, it's so beautiful. It is on the outside, but it's rough and dirty in the back. I mean, you have models running frantically off the stage to change. I mean, because some of them will have like 4 girls between them, and they have to be in outfit number 2. So you have dressers back there trying to grab the model the second they come off and help them get changed into their next look. You have, I mean, people who are in the back trying to make sure everything's okay in terms of sound and all of that. And then you have like, I mean, I happen to be a pretty calm designer, but I've seen designers go ballistic, yanking things off people and going crazy backstage. So it's very hectic. There's a lot more people backstage than anyone would think. You know, you think, oh, it's just the models back there. There's people changing them. There's, you know, hairstylists, makeup artists touching up anything that may have smeared or smudged, especially when girls are changing. I mean, makeup gets messed up, so you have to have people on call to change, like fix their face real quick. So it's a little crazy.
Nice fashions and hard work, that's one thing. But a little bit of publicity, that never hurt anybody. Designer Tory Burch, for example, was able to get on the Oprah Winfrey Show and Manna Fell from Heaven. For Amanda Perna, she took the reality TV route with Project Runway.
Hello?
Amanda?
Yeah?
Hey, it's Elisa from Runway. How's it going?
Hi.
You're in.
Shut up.
How did you get on Project Runway?
It was one of those things where it was like, one of my friends had told me about it, and when I was at the university, and I saw the show, she had the first episode, we went over to her house and saw it, and I was like, that is so cool, because I've always been very creative and able to make things out of trash, literally. Like, I've done it multiple times, like bizarre things. So I thought, what an interesting challenge. Every day working in fashion, you're making clothes that are gonna sell. That's what we do, that's our purpose. So this is making clothes out of bizarre items that have a bizarre theme. So I thought that would be a neat challenge, and I applied, and I didn't get on, and I applied again, and I didn't get on, and I applied again. So it was one of those things, it was like on my bucket list, and I'm such a driven person that when somebody tells me no, then I need to work harder to get that yes. So it was one of those things that I wasn't gonna give up until it happened.
And so, as I understand, what you got on, but you were eliminated the same day, or?
They did this bizarro thing that they never did before, and they normally just take 12 designers and you compete immediately. With us, they took 16, and 4 of us were eliminated right away, which was strange. I mean, we knew that going in, but like, I was like, there's no way it's me, and looked at people's things there, and I was like, I can outsew any of these people. So it was strange, and the people that I thought were among the most talented wound up being kicked off with me. So I was at least like, okay, well, at least I'm in good company. It's not me and the worst guy next that was there. So it made me able to live with that, and I mean, I just wanted to get there, and I got there. I mean, winning would have been nice and all, but my goal was to get to Project Runway.
not to cast aspersions, but was it a good thing that you weren't included?
Yes, and at the time, I mean, I would be lying if I said my pride wasn't hurt. You're like, I just got kicked off on national television. And I always make fun of people on TV who cry, and I was like, oh my gosh, these pathetic people, like, we're crying because of a TV show. And I cried, and I was like, oh, it's the one thing I didn't want to do. But it's just like, you're like shocked, you know, and you're like, what just happened? But looking back, I mean, even a week afterwards, I was really kind of happy. Even just the one episode that I was on, the 5 minutes or whatever it was that I had on air, really helped people at least know that I existed, if nothing else.
As we start to wrap up, Amanda, whenever I interview a chef, I always say, okay, you're done cooking, where do you go to eat? When you're done sewing, for you, what works? What do you like? Not for your models, but for yourself when you get dressed up to go somewhere.
I like accessories. That's my biggest thing, because I feel if you have a plain dress, you can jazz it up with all kinds of accessories and things like that. And shoes are my favorite. I've always loved shoes. I have entirely too many shoes. I have a closet full of shoes. It's kind of probably a little embarrassing. But yeah, that's what really completes the outfit for me. So when I'm going out, I make sure that, you know, whatever dress I'm wearing is important, but it's also about like the icing on the cake, and that's what the accessories wind up being, is the icing, the shoes and the jewelry or purse or whatever it is that you're carrying. It really brings it all together and completes it, I think.
Coming up next on Alabama Inc. Gym memberships, tons of options out there. How do you decide which one's the right one for you? Well, correspondent Josh Sneed met up with Beth O'Meara, who picked one and hasn't looked back since.
Chances are, if you made a New Year's resolution this year, it was to exercise more. But we both know that never happened. Your treadmill's still covered in clothes, and the Bowflex, it never made it out of the box. But there are people out there, like Beth O'Meara, who are trying something a little bit different. It's called Iron Tribe. It's a Birmingham-based gym company, and it's growing fast.
You mentioned your workout before. What are some of the other things you tried before you jumped into Iron Tribe?
You know, I've tried a lot of different things over the years, different classes.
Zumba,
you know.
I don't know what Zumba is, but it's a class.
I've not done Zumba because I'm not exactly the most coordinated dancer.
Okay.
Spinning, body pump type classes, and just general lifting weights, doing cardio, different cardio machines, the elliptical, the treadmill, the stair stepper, all of those types of things. But with all of that, you have to be extremely motivated and motivate yourself. And that's what I felt like I was starting to kind of lack, that self-motivation to get in there and go in and work hard and push myself.
It doesn't take long to see that motivation is an Iron Tribe specialty. Just look how many people showed up early on a Saturday morning for a Tribe 5K.
So it's 7 a.m. on a Saturday, and we're not all in bed. We're not all sleeping. Some of us are getting ready to do a 4-hour workout. You know, looking around, I can probably tell that I'm the only person here that ate at Five Guys 3 times this week.
This is Iron Tribe, a gym company founded in Birmingham only 2 years ago. They've got 6 Birmingham locations and 17 franchises in cities like Nashville, Tuscaloosa, and Raleigh. And if you want to be a member, it's going to cost you.
Each client pays between $230 and $310 a month based on 2 different things. How many days a week they want to come in and how many months they want to commit to. When you're paying a premium price, it's kind of hard not to show up. Right. You know, it kind of locks you in. It's the old adage, you know, you get what you pay for, but also when you pay for something, you actually take it more seriously. Well, you're getting what you pay for here, but you're also going to take it very seriously.
In your mind, is it worth it? Is it worth?
It's absolutely worth it because it is not just any gym. The camaraderie that I have, the accountability, the motivation, the fun, the staff, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. So it's well worth the money that you pay.
After spending all day at Iron Tribe, it got me pumped up. It was now time to unleash the beast.
As just a naturally fit person, I'm not gonna lie, I had to find these clothes. I wasn't sure where they really were. PVC pipe, man, finally, something I can lift. I could probably do 20, 30 of these.
All right, so every day when you come in, you're gonna do what we call the workout of the day.
That's what WOD is.
That's what WOD stands for.
Coming up, seeing what my workout is for the day, my WOD. 10 wall balls, 10 push-ups, 10 kettlebell swings.
3 rounds.
3 rounds. Oh, 3 rounds. What kind of break are we looking in between those rounds?
No break. This workout is 4 times, so you need to complete this task as quick as possible. We got it? We ready?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go! Good, all the way down, all the way up. You gotta hit that target. Good squats.
I am a man! I am a man!
Push-ups, push-ups. All the way down, all the way up. Full range of motion. Good, 1, 2, 3, looking good. Good form. And 10, good job. Deep breath, control the breathing. On to round 2.
Round 2.
9 and 10, good. Let's go push-ups, full range of motion.
If you weren't here, I would have left already.
I know, that's why I'm here. Good.
How many is that?
7, you got 3 more. 8, 9, and last one. 10, we are done. Your time is 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
It's gotta be a record, right?
It's a record. No one's ever done that workout. You just set a record. Great job, Josh.
Oh, thank you. I left Iron Tribe with my time on the board, a sense of accomplishment, and legs that couldn't climb stairs.
That's our show for this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Check out the stories we're working on and tell us what you think. I'm Gigi Duban, and we'll see you next time on Alabama 8.